Well, the January jobs numbers will be released today, and it should give some insight as to where the economy is heading. Economists predict that 185,000 jobs were added last month, a slowdown from the gain of 223,000 jobs in December and 263,000 in November. Right now, the unemployment rate sits at half a century low of 3.5%. For more on the latest economic headlines, we're joined by economics professor emeritus at the University of Maryland, Peter Morici. Peter, good morning. One of the questions we had this morning is, what are economists like you looking at for the jobs in January? What numbers do you need to see in that report?
Well, the whole issue of a soft landing. If the jobs numbers just decline, we were at 228 last month, and say they go to 180 as forecast, that's about the best news Chairman Powell can get, because we've had some moderation in inflation. We haven't licked it. But the question is, can we lick it without losing jobs, lots of jobs, and having unemployment go up for a period of 3 or 6 months? We do see some indications in the job market that there's still stress, that there are too many employers looking for too few workers, but we're starting to see some easing of the pressure on them to make decisions so rapidly.
And Peter, you talk about some employers looking for too few workers. Now, small businesses have been hiring at breakneck speed, but do you think that the massive layoffs from big corporations like Google, Meta, and others will impact the jobs report and the overall employment rate?
No, and I'll explain why. As the tech workers are laid off from places like Amazon, they then become available to these small businesses. And we're finding that they find jobs very rapidly. Another statistic that came out this week, and over the last 2 weeks that's been very low, have been new unemployment claims. With all these people getting thrown out the window, why aren't they landing in the unemployment office? The answer is they're landing at your local small business. Now, when I say a small business, I don't mean a hardware store. But for example, I purchased my bicycles at a chain of 5 stores. It has website maintenance and things of that nature. There's opportunities and things like that, and people move from one place to another in that way. So this is actually a buying opportunity for skilled workers, for small businesses.
Peter, I know exactly what you're talking about. I have a friend who left Deloitte and then started with a small startup. So they never really left the job market, but they were no longer at that big corporation. Now, economists like yourself have predicted that 185,000 positions were added just last month, which is a considerable drop from the 504,000 jobs that we saw in January of 2022. But what do you make of the continued decline of jobs added each month? Is it good or a bad sign for the economy overall?
It's not alarming to me. In good times, we need about 150,000 jobs a month to stay even. With the lack of immigration that we've had in the last few years, it's probably lower. So, you know, if the job market settled in at 150,000, that would mean we are not only taking care of the newcomers, the people who graduate from high school and college, but also that we're starting to draw some more people who've been on the bench, who left during COVID, you know, back into the labor force, which is good, because the more people that have, you know, pulling the wagon, the easier it is on all of us. Because we still don't have the kind of labor force participation we should have. That's why I'd say don't pay too much attention to that unemployment rate. Pay more attention to how many jobs you're creating. So 150,000 would be on a steady state, you know, continuous month after month, to me would be pretty sweet.
And Peter, now I know jobs and labor are all tied into like inflation. Now, Fed Chair Jerome Powell has previously said that the U.S. may need to increase unemployment in order to get inflation under control. Unemployment is at a near historic low and inflation is slowing down, hasn't completely stopped. Do you see this trend continuing, or will there need to be a trade-off like Powell suggested?
Well, there is a trade-off. The fact is that we could create 250,000 jobs a month because we have a lot of people sitting on the sidelines and higher wages would draw them out. But in order to get inflation down, especially in the services sector, it digs in there in ways and you just can't get rid of it. You never see a new restaurant menu with lower prices. In order to get that down, we have to get wage growth down to what is sustainable, what the economy can afford to pay. You know, if the economy is growing at 2% a year, we can't increase the salaries of professors and TV anchors at 6% a year. It's that dumb simple. And it's a bit like a dog chasing its tail. So it's kind of a relative thing. All things in economics are. Fewer jobs, it means creating 150,000 a month instead of 300,000 a month.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation in your cable lineup. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-based, unbiased coverage.